Like, people hate that. I mean, 800 flash party photo booth. Give us a call now. Nah, if someone gave me that number, I'm not gonna call you just because of that. I'm annoyed already. You know what I mean?
So with me working, I do events in Houston, Dallas. Are they able to use a 800 number or?
No, you don't want an 800 number. Everybody hates that 800 number. Do you like dialing 800 numbers? Entrepreneurs make bad entrepreneurs. It's a sad fact. Okay, because you're chasing after all the wrong things, and you don't have the proper foundation set up. You don't have the bookkeeping set up. You don't have your marketing set up. You don't have your website set up. You don't have a CRM set up. There's a lot of things that you don't have set up, but you want to go and do the cool thing, right? And the cool thing is like, oh, we're going to buy a new van and I'm going to wrap it and it's going to be awesome. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Photo Booth Boss. This is Josh here today. And Innocent, how you doing?
What's up, everybody? I'm doing well. Thank you, Josh.
Let's roll that intro real quick before we get too far ahead. Is the American dream still alive? I'm Josh Pather, American business entrepreneur and self-made millionaire. I've started several businesses from scratch and recognized as the top 100 fastest growing companies in Texas. Now, I'm going to do it all over again, live. I'm going to mentor Innocent Malik live on YouTube each week. He just purchased his photo booth from Photo Booth International and is starting from zero. I'm sick of people complaining about how they can't make money with this business, so I'm going to prove them wrong. Will we fail or will we make it? We're going live from 0 to 100,000 by the end of 2021. If we make it, I'm going to invest $10,000 off my own money into Innocent's business and we'll become business partners. Welcome to the Photo Booth Boss. All right, guys, welcome back to the Photo Booth Boss. All right, so where we at today? Let me make sure all the checks are good. If you guys want to comment on there, make sure to comment on the video. If you have any questions for me or Innocent, we're live on Sunday, July already. Happy July 4th for those in America. And yeah, guys, welcome back. So if you have any questions, you can comment or you can text me. Let me put up the text number here. Here we go. Let me change that actually, episode 8. So what's up, Innocent? How's it going?
What's up, man? Everything's well.
All right. So let's start off with a revenue update. Let's let everybody know where we are with the revenue right now for Photo Booth Boss. So last time we were at 22,000. Where are we at today?
Yeah, kind of a slow month. We're at 27,000.
27,000. Cool. All right. So in today's episode, we're going to share a lot of horror stories. I want to talk about all the bad side of basically the photo booth business. Okay, I know a lot of times it's just all we're talking about all the good stuff, and I want to basically cover all the stuff that's been going wrong. Okay, and not by wrong by like you're gonna lose money or anything like that, but just stuff happens at events, little things here and little things there, because we can all learn from everybody's mistakes, and that's basically what the purpose of this video is. So you can learn, and you can watch us go along the way. So the first one, the most recent one that I can remember, I know he was panicking and got saved. The printer issue with Christian. Yeah. Tell us what happened there.
Yeah, so just the other week ago, I had 4 weddings that week, and the first one was on Monday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So obviously 3 weddings in a row. And here comes Friday. I get to the venue on time, set up. I tested the printer the night before. Everything's good. No issue. Get to the event within the first hour. it says there's a ribbon issue. I'm like, okay, cool, easy fix, right? Easy peasy. I watched your video.
Did you watch that video at the event or like?
I did before. I know how to troubleshoot it now.
Right.
I've watched your videos so many times.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just gonna pull this out, start it back over, restart it, no issue, right? And so I tried it like 4 times, and I remember, it's within the first hour. Anytime the photo booth's there, within the first couple hours, you're pretty busy. You have a long line,
right?
And there's people breathing down my back, like, hey, what's?
Whoa! I don't know what's going on, guys. Sorry, we lost Innocent. Let's see. Let's kind of get him back here. Hang in there with us. This is what happens when you go live. All right, so this is an example of what happens, the mistakes that happen. So let's see where'd he go. So anyway, while he's coming back on there, let me check where he is. Go ahead and leave us a comment. All right, that's an example of what's going to happen, right?
That happens right there.
No matter how much you prepare, we've been preparing for 1 hour now. Still happens. Right.
So there's a long line at the photo booth, and everybody's asked me, and I'm trying to keep my composure. Now I'm sweating because the lights are hitting my bald head. So I'm trying to keep my cool.
How many people in the line at this point?
Oh, there are at least 20.
Dang.
And then by this point, I'm just letting them know, like, hey, I'm working on it. And it dawned on me, just by the grace of God, Christian was on his way to San Antonio. And I just knew he was going to be too tired to go all the way back to Dallas. And I called him. I said, Christian, where are you? He goes, I'm on 35. And I'm like, I know you're on 35, but where, in Waco, Dallas? Like, what part of 35?
Corpus Christi.
Corpus, yes, thousands of miles. And he goes, bro, I'm in New Braunfels. Yeah. I'm like, bro, you're right next to me. So immediately I sent him my location, and he was 15 minutes from me.
Dang.
So, the stars aligned, and, Christian came through and saved me for, obviously my next 2 or 3 events. For that event and then the next 2. So
did we ever figure out what happened with the printer?
I've already sent it off to DMP.
Okay. And guys, this stuff happens, no matter how much you prepare, no matter how much you check, when you're working with electronics, you need to understand that there's going to be a possibility of something go wrong, right? Just like Innocent's internet cut out right now or whatever. So you need to be prepared for that. In the instance that, let's say the printer didn't work, okay? What you're gonna do at that point, obviously you take 10-15 minutes, try everything you can possibly call, you can call DMP. I think they have 24/7 support. Make sure to post, if you're a customer of PBI, make sure to post inside like the Facebook group, and I think you did kind of do all that. I mean, obviously it's some kind of, isolated situation that nobody has seen, right? Because typically, like, okay, unplug it, turn it off, take off the ink and paper, put everything back in, the normal spiel. But this time something happened, we don't know, maybe it got damaged during transportation or something like that, or just a malfunction. It is what it is. Sometimes that stuff happens. So what you would do in that situation is if Christian wasn't there, you would be able to, just let people know, hey, the printer's not working right now. We're still going to take pictures, and we're going to give everybody a link where they can go access the pictures. And then what you can do is, like the next day or something like that, you can print out all the pictures. You can just go to CVS and print them out. And then you can go give them back to the host, and the host can distribute them. Obviously give them a discount or whatever you can do to make matters, right. But at least the photo was taken,
Right.
So the photo was taken, if there's, if there's an event, everybody knows, like if it's a wedding, they sent out invites, they have everybody's address, so they can send them their photo, you know what I mean? And most of the time, if you digitally email something to someone, they can print it out as well. So I don't think it's as big of a problem. Now, if you had like a camera issue and you couldn't even take photos, then that's a different story now, right? That's like a full refund almost. I mean, just whip out your phone at that point, you know. And we've done events like that where it's like, because I would take like another camera just to get photos for our social media, right? And so one time I remember the photo booth just was not working. So we just whipped out this camera and we started taking photos. And thankfully that the customer's understanding, you know. I think he was like a business owner too. So this stuff's gonna happen, guys. It's about how creative can you be and handling the situation. You know, you may fold under pressure and you may not be used to it, but you know, you signed up to be a business owner. You got to be ready for that. You know, and creatively solve the problem. You know, don't just throw in the towel and say, okay, I give up. You know, because there's always a way around this. You know what I mean? And if you got to take off your cell phone and put it on airplane mode and take pictures, then that's what you got to do. And do it for free and tell the customer, you know what, the photo booth's not working now. I'm going to take photos with my cell phone, but I'm going to stand here and make sure everybody gets a photo together. Because this camera here on the iPhone is top of the line. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's really amazing. So get an iPhone, definitely, for those who don't have it. Anyway, all right. So next thing, do you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I do. You know, so I know we spoke the last time about the importance of using a checklist when you're packing, so you don't forget anything. So I have my checklist. It's in my garage, and my kids helped me. My two boys, right, 13 and 19. You know, so you have the list. They had everything packed. I've done enough events to where I can eye it and see I got everything in there. What I didn't check was, and I actually did. I always walk into the garage just to kind of where I have everything placed, and I walk right out. So when I got to the event, one of the main poles that I need for my backdrop was missing. So the issue with that was, and it's the end piece that connects to the pole that stands up. So now what are you gonna do? I was like, oh my God, like I can put some tape. I'm just thinking, what can I do? What can I do? I'm against this wall. And thankfully the venue is like an old barn, and they had a shelf up there, like a small, maybe 10-inch shelf with a lantern on top of it. I was able to stick the pole on top of it.
So you had the top pole that goes across the top, but you were missing the bottoms or the sides or what?
So I was missing the far, or what, just the end piece that has the big enough hole to fit in the nut or the bolt, I guess.
Got you. Yeah.
Right. So I was able to stick it up there, put the lantern on top of it, and it held it, and it was actually pretty straight. And so I kind of finagled it to where it looked like it was sitting on the poles.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you look at the pictures, you really can't tell.
Yeah.
So again, just thinking on the fly, staying calm, and just trying to find a way to get it done. So
yeah, and most of the, like last night, I went to the venue with Jaime and Nathan Acosta, and the venue had like a little room with all, you know, like chairs and tables, and you know, like Jaime goes there and he didn't even take a props table. He just opens his door and like pulls out this table, because he already knew where they keep all the stuff. And so like you may be able to find some stuff in there, you know, like that other vendors forgot or anything like that. So, you know, feel free to ask like the venue, because they always got like a room full of just, you know, random things, you know, that people left or whatever, and you may be able to like use some of that stuff, you know. And sometimes, you know, like it's kind of risky, because obviously if you were to go and say, hey, I forgot this, it makes you look not professional. But at the same time, if you got someone that has experience, that's been doing like a wedding planner or event planner, they're like, hey, you know what, I understand that happens, let's see how we can make this work. That's more important than judging you for forgetting, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know, but sometimes, you know, you'll get people who just want to help you, and that's not a big deal. So
right.
Yeah, it's a backdrop issues. All right, guys. So we're talking about horror stories, stuff that happens when you work your events, and kind of how to get around it, and how Innocent got around his, his issues that he had.
Yeah, I'll share another one. So my first wedding, that would have been on Monday of last week. I had a template made, and of course I look at every template, right, just to kind of scope it out, make sure the spelling, the date, everything's correct. And the way this was an interesting layout, just because of the color scheme that she had. It was like a bright purple and kind of gold, and it kind of meshed in the way it was made. Mm-hmm. And I didn't catch that it said Mrs. and Mrs. on there. Mm-hmm. So now I've already uploaded it, and I'm at the event, and a customer walks up to me, or excuse me, a guest walks up to me and goes, hey, you got Mrs. and Mrs. on here. Okay. And that's within like 30 minutes.
During the event?
At the event.
Oh, at the event, yeah.
Yeah, so she showed it to me, and thankfully it's a Monday, and the gentleman that made it for me, he wasn't busy, and he was able to fix it, and there was good Wi-Fi there, so I was able to get on and change it immediately. And the bride and groom didn't even know.
So the way around that always is we actually always sent the layout for approval to the customer. And and we won't even do the event unless the customer responds and says approved. Because if they said approved and they approved it, then you can put the blame on them. You know what I mean? And then it's also another set of eyes that's going to catch it. So as soon as I get the template back from the designer, we'd send like a template approval email, and then we'll wait. Just put like, hey, respond to approve or respond with changes, and put like, only one change left or two changes left. How many revisions you want to give them? Because if you don't say that, they go, oh, let's try purple, let's try black, let's try gold. And it'd be a lot of wasted time. But we always did that, and then also go and print the layout, because sometimes the colors that you use inside Photoshop or something like that is not going to show up exactly the same on the layout, and sometimes the bride and grooms are not like forgiving when it comes to that. Like the pinks, different colors are pinks, or like light blues is a little bit hard to it's hard to show just because it's a thermal printer.
Right.
Yeah. And then the Wi-Fi thing you brought up, so it seems like you're heavily dependent on the Wi-Fi at the venues, which is not always a good thing.
Right. So again, on top of the layout issues, well, one of my processes, so typically a week and a half before the event, I always call the client and I just kind of repeat the information back. And that's when I make the template, and I actually did send that template to her, and she approved it.
Nah.
So she's like, oh, that looks beautiful. I was like, okay, great. Everything's good. But to your point, yeah. So you definitely want to have another set of eyes and check it. But I typically want the template back by Thursday. So and I always have the Astro set up in my kitchen, and I'm already going through my process with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I set up the photo booth in your lounge and just do it. Like we had it in our second bedroom. I mean, you got to do it. You got to be willing to sacrifice. If you're worried about keeping your house clean or guests coming over, that's not more important than your business. If you're getting started, I mean, that's what it takes. You got to do whatever it takes.
Right. And, just mentally also, like I was saying, I'm thinking photo booth boss 1 or 2 is that you need to see it again, because I see it every day. That makes me want to get up and do what I need to do to get to the next level with it. So.
And like you can, like, just if you have it in your kitchen, right? Like, hey, go wake up, have some coffee. All right, I'm gonna learn this feature today. Mm-hmm. How do I do green screen today? Then tomorrow or next week or whatever, 3 days from now, I'm gonna learn the text message, how to set up text messages, right? How to connect Dropbox, how to set up emails. You know what I mean? It's not hard if you break it down like that.
Right.
And if you just do the core things, like, okay, the first thing, how to set up an event, how to do a layout, how to do text message, how to do email, you can pretty much run 80% of events just with those, right?
Right.
And, global settings, maybe some stuff in there, and then your start screen, pretty much where your buttons and stuff go. But if you have a mirror, it's just one setting from the mirror settings.
Right.
So,
what was something you always preach to me? 1% every day. That's in 1 year. That's what, like 300% better than the previous year. Mm-hmm. Something like that.
Yep. But people always say, I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. It's going to be overwhelming. No doubt. Everything in life is going to be overwhelming. You buy a house, start a job, bake a cake. I mean, it's all overwhelming, but it's all step by step. Break it down into small increments, and you do a little bit every day, and there's nothing you can't achieve.
Right. I don't know if I ever shared this with you. So, that I bought that photo booth from you on a Friday, right? When I came back home, and again, I shared my failures with you, right? With the pizza business didn't go well, the cleaning business. I had so much anxiety that night, I could not sleep.
Yeah.
Lindy was like, you were tossing and turning all night. I didn't want to tell her what I was thinking in my head.
Yeah.
But that thought of doubt and failure just overcame me, just overwhelmed me. And that's when I had to get up and I was like, man, I got to listen to Grant Cardone or something, right? To kind of get mentally, you got to be ready for that. Yeah. And I think a lot of, selling the photo booths and because the first thing you hear is, "Oh my God, I'm nervous. I've never spent any money like that." Like the lady that came about the coin, the 360.
Yeah.
We spoke. She was like, "I've never done anything like that." Single mother of 3.
Yeah.
I mean, she went all in.
She went all in.
And
she came to the showroom. She was like, "Man, I don't know what I was going in. I had my." She brought some mace with her because she was like, she looked us up on Google and she was like, "I just saw a building there." She's like, she thought we were a scam. I was heartbroken.
I sent her the Google, the address, and
Yeah.
I said, "Hey, it's kind of out in the country. I mean, a little bit. It's out in it's off the highway."
Yeah, right on the highway.
That's funny.
Yeah, that was. All right, so that was the. Oh yeah, so the Wi-Fi thing. So the Wi-Fi thing. Get a good cell phone with good service. Okay, so from my experience doing photo booth rentals for many years, the best service provider for cell phones all over the country. And I have experience doing this all over the country because we were flying out to Las Vegas, New York City, Atlanta, California, Miami. I mean, we did events all over. Verizon Wireless has the best coverage as far as internet goes in all major cities, inside and outside of buildings. And the reason how we know this is because typically with the corporate events, they're going to be inside a convention center, a trade center, the World Trade Center in Dallas. We did an event there. Almost every city has a trade center, and it's multi-story, and the signal is typically very horrible. And if you're doing a corporate event, most of the time they want to collect email addresses, they want to collect like phone numbers, they want to collect data, and so you need to be tapped into a good Wi-Fi. So we use the Verizon Jetpack, or they have a different name for it now, but that's usually the best. I think it's like $20 a month to get added on there, and then you have your own dedicated Wi-Fi. If you're gonna go in there and think like, hey, I'm just gonna use my cell phone, that's not a good plan. You're planning to fail at that point, because as soon as you get a call, I think it disconnects your Wi-Fi from whatever sources. Or if you go to the bathroom and you forget and you have your phone in your pocket, or if you're using your phone, right, like for social media or something like that, and you walk away, like there's just so many problems. If you just get a device that you can just have for the photo booth, you just leave it right inside the photo booth, plug it into the computer so it stays powered up, and you got dedicated Wi-Fi, no problem. That was an easy upsell for us. We would sell that for $100 or $50, I think, every time. And if we do freaking 5 or 10 of those a month, that's extra $500 a month doing nothing, no extra work. Yeah, and people will pay like, hey, $50. We bring our own Wi-Fi, and you just multiply that by however many events. How many events did you do last month?
9.
9 events. So let's say half of those got, the Wi-Fi package, and let's say 4 of them, right? That $50, that's $200 right there. Right. For nothing. There's no cost to you at all. I mean, you're paying $20 a month, for Verizon, but that's 10% of what you made, in 4 events. So quick and easy pro tip upsell right there. All right, so let's talk about the other layout issue that you had with Jaime.
Right. So again, kind of the same thing with the Mr. and Mrs. The client. Now, this was an event planner that booked me, and she called me. She called me and she was like, "Hey, it's a Cinderella theme and it's pink and gold." And I said, "Okay, pink and gold." And I mean, I've watched Disney plenty of times. I know it's blue, it's Cinderella. And Jaime said the same thing. I said, "Bro, she told me pink and gold. I got in a text."
Yeah.
And so when I sent it to her for her approval, she's like, "Hey, it looks beautiful, and hey, but it needs to be blue." I'm like, so I didn't want to be like, "Hey, when we spoke the other night, you told me pink and gold."
Yeah.
And you also have it in the text. I was going to screenshot it. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Just because
you gotta kind of, they have a lot going on, man.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
No, she's like the sole provider for Onion Creek Ballroom, the place that has like 6 ballrooms going on. And so she kind of subbed me out. So, I mean, she's going to be giving me business. I didn't want to, I didn't want to make her mad. Basically, I'm like, yes, I'll fix it. So what ended up happening was the anniversary party I was at on Saturday morning, the Wi-Fi was sketchy there, but again, the template was already in there.
Right.
And I'm trying to
load the original gold one.
Do what?
The original gold one.
The original gold, it's already in the Astro. It's ready to go. I already got the event created. All I need is go there, set up, start booth, let's go.
Yeah.
So while I was there out in the country, I'm trying to get on Wi-Fi, and it would not go. And now I'm like, uh-oh. So I called Jaime. It's unfair to do that.
Night, right?
Yeah, so it's unfair to do that, right?
And when you're texting him, so me and Jaime, I was with Jaime when he was like, oh my God, Innocent is calling me. And so we were recording. We had the video crew there. We were unloading the Astro. We were like setting up. And it was like the worst possible time, right? Like to call, like right when you're setting up, you just got there trying to meet everybody. And I'm like, bro, like tell Innocent we'll call him back later. We're going to finish the setup right now.
Right. What ended up happening was then I get the new one. Now, of course, again, there's a line there. So I'm trying to put in the new template. And so, you start forgetting as you're panicking, right? Because you're getting anxiety, you're looking at people. Well, I forgot to put the boxes in.
What? Oh, for the pictures?
The pictures. So I'm like, why is this thing coming out blank? And again, called, did you put the boxes in? I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, dude, 40 plus events, but it just goes to show you, right? Just the follow up and making sure, and just following your system that you have, and try to avoid that. But we got it done. No issues. But
yeah, even if you have everything in place, there's still somebody will be like, oh well, I told you this, but they told you something else instead.
Mm-hmm.
So try to double confirm stuff.
Right.
You can. It may not be possible all the time, but especially like addresses,
right.
Definitely layouts for sure. And so you're taking full payment before the event?
Of course.
Yeah. Have you gotten any pushback on that?
No. So still going with the $150 deposit and 30 days before, and no issue.
Yeah. Okay, that's a big one, guys. Make sure you got that.
All right. I'll say this: I have had I had a weekend I was available. She actually lived in Maine or near me, and she had a quince, and obviously they paid cash. He didn't want to pay me up front, so even though it was I think less than 2 weeks. So my policy is, hey, you have to pay me in full. He's like, hey, I'll pay you half now, and I'll pay you half when you get there. I mean, it was a $600 gig, so I mean, he paid $300 cash, and I said, I'll do that. I mean, he's gonna give you $300. I'm pretty sure he'll pay the rest.
Right. Yeah, and that'll happen. I mean,
those are the ways.
You'll run a few of those. All right. So the backdrop, the misspelling, stolen Tupperware.
Yeah. So I'll add this on too. So this was my first time going to this ballroom, and I like to keep my stuff nice and organized. So as kind of doing my pre-closing, as my time's about to come up, I know where all my stuff is at. I know what I like to grab first, and so I had everything sitting right there, and I didn't even notice it that night. But I had a Tupperware with my keys to the Astro, some extra cords. My Cube remote was in there, and a couple other props were in there. And, not paying attention, somebody stole it.
All right, we're talking about photo booth horror stories. So, let's see. So then what happened? You try to go back and get it?
Right. I called the venue, and they're closed on Monday, Tuesdays, I believe. I had to go up there and I was busy Wednesday. Went up there on a Thursday, and it was gone.
Yeah.
And the lady told me, she was like, "Hey, we didn't have an event there last week, so it should still be there." And of course, it wasn't there.
Right. And there was nothing valuable in it, right?
No. Why would you take it?
Yeah. That's weird. All right, guys. So we're talking about photo booth horror stories, how to fix it, what to do when you got bad situations, and anything else before we switch gears to the business building.
Since we're still talking about that venue, I've had some good interaction there. You never know who's there and who's watching, right?
Yeah.
When I got there, I'm getting there early, setting up, and obviously always taking care of the clients that are in there, being personable, being friendly. And when I stayed, that was the lady that she was my second customer that booked me back in February.
Mm-hmm.
You remember her? She was a little bit intoxicated in the interview.
Oh yeah.
You remember that with her daughter?
Yeah.
So I stayed to the very end, so she was really happy.
Yeah.
So typically when I extend my time, I'll just unplug the printer and let them do digital print. So they were very happy. So when I was there, I booked another graduation party there. One of her friends booked me for the following week that I had open. So that was cool. And then the second one was, there's a gentleman, he had like an LED booth. So he walks up to me like, hey man, that's an awesome setup that you have. And so I get his number, start talking to him. And then his mother calls me, that's the event planner. Mm-hmm. And that's when she's booked me for twice now.
Because you stayed late?
Well, not just because I stayed late, just she seen I did a good job. She went and spoke to Elizabeth, the lady that held the party.
Not that you're handsome.
Yeah, that could have been one too.
Hey, we got DJ Nathan Acosta in the building. What's up, baby? Thank you for tuning in. He's our latest customer. He just got an Astro booth.
Nice.
Nathan, make sure to connect with Innocent, man. Where I think you guys could work some, do some business together. Innocent is in Austin area, and he also does some events. He has a white Astro as well too, one of his first booths. So I'm mentoring him to go from 0 to 100,000 by the end of the year, and yeah, it's exciting. All right, guys. So we're talking about the photo booth horror stories. Let us know. I know quite a few of you are watching right now. Feel free to comment. Let us know where you're watching from. Give us a like. All right, so we're gonna switch gears now to the business building section. All right, so what have you been doing to grow your business?
So from last episode, just again calling DJs, event planners, wedding coordinators. So I took a different approach this time. I just started going down my 2,000 some my friends list on Facebook. And one of my buddies, I think he was 3 years older than me in college, but he's a director of communications for San Antonio ISD. So I gave him a call, no answer. I text him. Then, so the importance of always, follow up and not giving up till they give you a no or they can help you, right? And I sent him the information. I didn't hear back from him for a while, maybe a month. And all of a sudden I get an email and I see him on there. I'm like, oh, nice. And had the vendor package on there and what I need to do. And I have my first event with them August 4th for a teacher convention.
Let's walk through that, like the process. So like, I know it's kind of long. We were on a bunch of ISDs and like they do background checks and did you have to do like the thumbprint thing?
No, they did not, but they obviously you do sign a legal document that says, do you have a felony or anything like that? Does anybody work in your company work for one? So you're signing that thing, obviously, and if you were to lie on it, you'd be in trouble.
Yeah. What would their payment structure like? Like, were they paying you net 30?
It was 30 days.
Yeah.
Right.
So I got a little story about that. I can't remember the high school, but we did an event and like we weren't getting paid like in that 30 days. It had gone over. So I went on it was Dallas ISD. I went on the Dallas ISD. I pulled up that school and I found like all the people who work at the office, like everybody's email address. And I sent the email blast to all of them, everybody in the office. And then we got payment like the next week.
Nice.
Well, that stuff will happen, you know what I mean? Like people go on vacation, they get sick, they get pregnant, they quit their job, they get fired. And like especially when you're working with these schools, make sure to get multiple contacts. Don't never just get one point of contact, okay?
Right.
Any single point of failure will fail you, okay? You want multiple points of contacts. Hey, if you want to give me net 30, I need the name of 3 people that's been there. You know what I mean? Because the person you may be speaking to, she may have just gotten hired in that position. And next week she could have been fired, and then she has all your information. She didn't put in the paperwork to put you in the vendor system and you never got in the vendor system and there's no record of you doing the event. And then that's a whole nother, time and energy you're going to be spending on that. So, yeah, that was good. So San Antonio ISD. So did they have any like gigs coming up and stuff?
Yeah. So the first one's August 4th. And so that's with his department. And he goes, once they see that, the other departments will reach out and see if they want to book you.
Okay, gotcha. What else? And then outsourcing events.
You're right.
Yeah.
So on the days that I'm double booked, obviously, like the gentleman that was just on there, what was his name? Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, building relationships, and so I'm working with Anita in Colleen. She was trained by Jaime, so she's been helping me out, and also, I'm on multiple Facebook groups, and I also like to see what the competition is doing, and I think sometimes you can negotiate a lower rate from some of them. And I found a guy that was very, I would say, more generous with his.
Some people just, they just do it for fun, or whatever. It's not a big deal. Like, obviously, we have a goal that we have to get to,
Right.
So, yeah. What we used to do is, like, we used to hire people, and we would do like a split with them. So we would do like a 60-40 split. So they keep 60%, we keep 40% of the gig. They have to go and represent as us, though. They can't, they can't discuss anything, whatever like that, or try to, call us next time, nothing like that. They got to be professional, and you're only gonna get paid afterwards. Like, you go do the event, I'm gonna call, I'm gonna check up, make sure everything's good, no problems, and then you get it. This is the contract. I give them a copy of the contract that they signed, and so you give them 60% or 70%, whatever.
Okay.
And that's how you can grow, and you can do multiple cities like that. But obviously you need to vet who you're sending out there, because if they mess up, it's going to be on you.
Correct.
So you want to make sure they got insurance, to make sure that showing up on time, they're professional, they know the equipment, and because they're anything goes wrong, you're going to be the call, and you're going to have to answer for them. And we got disconnected again, guys, but that's going to be it for today. We're going to wrap up. Thanks for watching and tuning in. If you got any questions, feel free to text us 972-284-0506. If you want to buy a photo booth, 972-301-2930, Photo Booth International. Give us a like. All right, click the like button or hit the subscribe button. We'll talk to you later. Take care.